Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm back with another one. Today we're gonna be doing the Boneyard as promised. This is the old graff yard. From what I've been told, is excuse me, it's been getting hit since the early '90s, but I don't really have confirmation of that. It's just word of mouth for the most part. I would say early 2000s when I used to come here. I used to come here to bomb 2013, 2014, just to practice and get better. Ideally, I actually did my first throw here, so it's a pretty cool yard. I personally like it. It's one of my favorite. It's actually my favorite yard. I would say it's the biggest one I've been to so far, or at least one of the biggest ones I've been to. And then I used to see a lot of old graff, 2000s, early 90s. Not early 90s, I mean 2000s for sure. Lately I actually came here during winter. There's a video on my channel if you guys want to check it out. I'm actually gonna go look at the bomb right now to see if it's still there or if it's capped. But that video, if you guys want to check it out, what it originally looked like, because I'm sure it might either be capped or somebody did some tags over it, because lately a lot of been little kids and toys been kind of coming here and just doing little tags, which it's expected, it's part of the game. And but yeah, so I'm gonna just go ahead and give you guys a quick glimpse around. It's pretty hot, so I'm not gonna get a full, you guys aren't gonna get a full view, but I'll at least give you guys a good 80% of the spot and kind of where what kind of yard this is. But I mean, it definitely lacks in talent versus what it was before. I know before it used to be like blasted all over the place, like you literally didn't have no space on the wall because so many people used to come here, old school graffers, new school graffers, even if they were toy, everybody just used to be here. Because I was one of the toys that was here. It was pretty bad, and as expected, my mom had I cut out the video, that part of it, because all I did was clean it up. Some toys went over it, but it's fine. I'm not even a fan of that bomb anyways, but since I had some black cans on me, I figured why not, right? And but yeah, this is the first part of it. This is it's pretty steep. Honestly, this video gives it no justice. It's like almost walking down a wall. You fall down this place, you're probably gonna get hurt pretty badly. You guys just saw that yoke bomb. This dude actually that's a pretty old bomb, because he actually got better with his bombs. He actually just did one where that Just Get Up toy hangs out at that canal. He actually did one off the street side. It's actually pretty clean compared to the one I just saw, so he's definitely improved. And I just hope it doesn't get capped, because there's barely anything at that yard as is. There's only like a few, I think there's like 3-4 bombs there tops still left. And this dude's already capped like half the yard, and it just sucks because it's just one dedicated toy. And personally, me, like I always tell you guys, I love going to yards. Don't get me wrong, I like doing my thing too, but I love seeing everybody's style. I just like walking around and actually generally enjoying other graffiti. A lot of people, they're like, like I said, it's an ego sport. They like to just see what they can do, see if they can top the next guy, which is cool, healthy competition. As long as you obviously don't do no bullshit like this dude, and, just go over with people with tags. If it's a diss, I get it, but, if you're going over pieces with, bullshit, just don't do it. I've even had people that I have beef with, and I wouldn't even go over, if they were like way better than me, like to the point where I'm like, damn, this shit's too clean, I wouldn't even like cap them no matter how deep the beef was, just out of respect, because I'm like, you know what, somebody else might enjoy this, and at the end of the day, I'm not gonna deny this dude just because I have beef with him. I'm not gonna deny his skills, and that's just what it is. That's just kind of the person I am, graph wise, and how I look at things. But yeah, man, I just got a glimpse. I didn't go all the way down. There's a bomb that says down for that one's actually the one that's been burning for a long ass time. That's one of the old ass bombs. That's literally, I think, like one of the few bombs that actually made the cut here, because nobody goes all the way down. There's actually a video, if you guys don't want to take my word for it. There's a video on YouTube. It's like 8 to 10 years old, but the quality is pretty good. It's called Boneyard. You guys can just look up Boneyard tunnels, or Boneyard spider tunnels, I believe is what it is. I'll try to see if I can find it. It should come up though. I'll put a link on it on my description. And yeah, that place is it pretty much shows you all the graff. It's a lot of repeated writers, but that kind of shows you what it is, what it was before versus what it is now. There's also a rumor that down there, past that canal, there's some tunnels down there. I don't have full confirmation of that, but I heard there's whole nother yard. This place is really big. It's a really weird place because it's just like one big crater with just miscellaneous spots, but this isn't a really populated city. It's actually like like suburbs, you know, like if you go a couple lights down and like it turns into the hood, like that's where I'm from. And but for the most part, this is a suburbs area. You guys can see that I did that little bomb a few years ago. Pretty whack. I had a busted can, paint all over my hands. It was a pretty bad day, but it wasn't as hot as it is today. So yeah, that's the good thing, I guess I would say. But anyways, but yeah, man. So this is kind of just a glimpse of what this place is. If I would have went to the other side, I probably would have. You guys probably would have seen the spider tunnels that I'm talking about. I'm just not going to explore them because, like I said, this is a pretty big yard, and I would have to literally walk to the other side, and it's really hot. It's like 100 plus degrees out here, 100, 120 degrees. So it's really, really hot, and as you guys can see, there's no shade here. So there's so yeah, I mean, it's hot. So, but I'll give you guys at least a glimpse of the yard so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. I do want to come back eventually and just do the whole yard where I'll do a full walk around and get on every pillar and show you guys absolutely everything, because this is what I was talking about. It's a really big yard because there was a lot of graff that still survives on the other side. I'm sure I still have a few things on here on the other side because I did a couple UK bombs, and I'm hoping they're still there because they were actually, you know, when I started actually getting a little bit more skill. This is that yeast dude. That dude is actually one of the dudes that dissed the dead dude. I guess they have some beef beyond the grave. I think it's kind of fucked up, but you know, I guess that's their business. But yeah, man. So with this yard, definitely pretty cool place. Has a lot of different graff, a lot of new graffers, as I can see here. I know a lot of the stuff is new because it wasn't even here last time I came, and I came here 6 months ago. But there's obviously some stuff that's been around for I don't know how long. Some people will throw up the year, others won't. And but yeah, so yeah, man, this place is, like I said, in a weird place. If you guys look ahead, there's like literally a bunch of luxury dealerships. I actually almost bought a Lexus from one of those dealerships, but the guy was just trying to one up me, you know, the whole dealer ordeal, so I just didn't do it. It was a while ago. So I mean, it's like literally this place in the middle of the suburbs, just literally a big crater in the middle of like the suburbs. It's off the freeway, so a lot of the stuff can be visible off the freeway. That canal I went through, if I would have went a little bit more up, you know, people can actually see me off the freeway, and they're currently working on the freeway. So obviously I didn't want to get spotted by the city guys. I'm just glad they didn't spot me because they would have been quick to call the cops. The good thing is you guys can see there's places to hide, so they'll eventually give up. The only downside is that some people will hop over the freeway or do the rollers off the canal, and then it'll get buffed. It'll just, while they're here, they'll just kind of start buffing everything else. So that's the only downside to this place. But yeah, as you guys can see, some pretty decent graphs so far. Like I said, nothing compared to what it used to be. You guys look up that video. Like I said, I'll grab it and put it on my link. But there's definitely some talent. Definitely a lot of new guys from what I see here. And then we'll probably run into some old stuff too. This Wetzer dude, that's another dude that just get up to he caught, you know, started random beef with. This dude's pretty clean, actually. I've seen a lot of his other work, and he's pretty clean. It looks like he just went the straight letter route on that one. Annihilator, that dude, always see him in yards. I've seen him in certain yards. I never see him do any Main Street stuff, but you know, that dude's pretty clean. I like his pieces. And yeah, so for the most part, it looks, you know, fairly decent. I might have missed some of this stuff last time because last time I went straight down. If you guys look straight down, I went all the way straight down. There's some tunnels over there too. So total, like I said, it's a really big yard. There's another tunnel over there. It's just a single tunnel. It doesn't go in too deep, but you know, this Snuff dude, that dude, I saw a couple of his fights get uploaded on some channel we used, some Facebook page we used to have. He had a couple fights. That dude was about his shit. This Mayo dude, he actually came on the news, hit over like 300 spots, and they arrested him. If you guys want to look that up too. But yeah, man. So, and then this Attack, I think it says Ajax. I think it says Attack though, because I seen a bomb exactly the same that said Attack. If that's the same dude, he actually started writing around the same time I started writing, because I used to see his stuff all over downtown when I was going to school, like, or you know, if you're, you know, fucking up at regular school, just, you know, getting into fights and all that bullshit, they send you to that school. I went there, and I used to see his tags a lot. A lot of people were in downtown, a lot of writers. There still are. A lot of people like doing the pieces, the older ones, and then the younger ones are just going around tagging. I was one of them. And he started writing around the same time as I did, and as you guys can see, his bomb's not that good. It's decent, but you know, for the time we've been writing, we should have been like doing full pieces already. And the fact that we're that we're barely even getting into bombing. Just that's why I always preach to you guys, get into bombing early. That's cool if you want to get into hand styles and stuff, and even do throwies and stuff. If you decide to be a throwy guy, that's by all means, because there's some guys that just do throwies and they just do some sick ass shit with their throws. That works too, but just getting some sort of bombing, because with hand styles you only get so far. Like I said, you'll get some sick ass hand styles. I got to the point where like I was focused on my hand styles so much that I just like my stuff wasn't even readable no more, but it was like sick. People would be like, damn dude, that's a sick ass hand style or whatever, right? I don't know what it says, but it looks sick. You know, people like admire my hand styles, but they wouldn't, some of them, even some of the graphers wouldn't even know what it says anymore. And I'm just like, ideally they would have to like see that same hand style over and over again, and they'll be like, oh, that's that guy or whatever, because he has, you know, blah blah blah, I know him because I see him all around all the time. But that's the only way. So that's why I tell you, the hand styles have their limits. My hand styles got pretty bad, but I like bombing better, in my opinion. Tags are cool and all. Like, I'll hit some streaker tags, but like, I don't even like tagging with cans no more, to be honest with you guys. I like doing streaker and marker tags and shit like that. But with cans, I just like, if I have a can, I'd rather do an outline, or if I have enough for a fill-in, and so on. But yeah, man, so yeah, me and my friends used to come here. I've hit like a roller here before off the main street too. Got buffed. Some people went over it. I'll try to upload a video of it. It's pretty big. And I'll try to see if I can find it on my old pictures. It's like from 2015, so you guys can see I'm not bullshitting. And yeah, so yeah, me and my friends used to come here a lot, man. We used to hang out. We used to come at night. The reason we wouldn't go down to Canal all the way is because it was to be pitch dark here. We'll have some flashlights, but I don't think it was enough, and we just didn't think there was anything down there. On top of that, as well, the other thing is, so, you know, it was weird because I used to hang out with these guys. It was like 6 of us, and it was really weird because we're all in different crews. One wasn't even from California. He wasn't even from out here. He was just living out here for a little while, but he went back. And we just never thought about making a crew, but then again, it makes sense because we used to bump heads a lot. We used to fight a lot. There's a couple fights that broke out here that we had to like split up. And like, I'll literally be bombing, and then 2 of them are getting into it. Next thing you know, they're like fucking on the floor, you know, putting each other in headlocks and shit, or like, you know, you just see them just start throwing hands and shit, some dumb shit. And I'm just like, fuck, you know, it throws me off. So it's just shit like that. After a while, it just got too much, and we stopped hanging out. Also, you know, they used to have a Facebook page. It was like Phoenix Graff. It was like, it had like 3,000 to 5,000 members. It was originally supposed to be local, but a lot of people from other states got into it, got in there, and then obviously it became really popular. I think it was like the most popular page on Facebook at one point, because it reached as much as like 15,000, and it was to the point where I was getting more attention because of the shit I was doing. I was trolling a lot of people. A lot of people were bandwagoning on beef, and yeah, and then some people were even dropping beef because they were like messaging me like, damn, you're funny as fuck, I can't even beef with you no more. I ain't gonna lie, man, your comebacks are ridiculous, because I was always like, you know, just talking shit, trolling people. And people knew where I worked at, and a lot of people wouldn't even pull up or nothing like that. Like, I literally worked at like grocery store and shit, and I mean, people will talk shit, but they'll pull up, say little shit, but nobody will actually pull up to fight or nothing like that. And yeah, I mean, like I said, it was, you know, that was years ago. And that channel, seems like some of the guys I was hanging out with, they were way better than me. These guys were like doing pieces and stuff, and I was barely, you know, can't even put a throwy together. And some of these guys seem a little envious of me getting more attention, so they'll try to get attention off me. And it was really weird. I'm like, you know, I don't even know why. I'm like, you guys are like levels ahead of me skills wise. I don't even know why there's any like kind of hate. Like, I'm trash. The only thing is I troll people. That's it. But anyways, so that obviously is the reason we split up. I know like one of them is still painting, but everybody else is pretty retired. And the reason it's kind of a PSA as well. That's the kind of stuff that also made me stop graphing, because I got into bombing, but then I stopped graphing for a few years. I started meeting some of these guys, and some of these guys were not what I expected, right? I was like looking up to people. There was a guy that told me, one of the guys I looked up to, we started our conversation. I actually had beef with the dude, which was weird, and he was in that crew, that one of the famous graphers. If I say his name, you guys will know who he is. It's a famous crew, but I'd rather not, just out of respect. He told me this dude was like he was like a tweaker. He lived in an abandoned house, and he could show me, and I'm like, that's kind of weird. Why would you want to show me and all that stuff? But he had beef with him, right? Or he had beef with his crew, whatever. But apparently he didn't have beef with this particular guy, which is weird. But I'm like, you know, of course he's gonna say some shit. He has beef with him. He's gonna say whatever. He's gonna obviously say some shit to tarnish his name, right? Then I hung out with somebody that's from his crew, or clicked up with his crew, And he tells me, yeah, this is true. Obviously, he didn't say it in that way, but he says, yeah, this dude's like, I was like, so he's homeless. He's like, not necessarily. What he does is that he just dedicates his life to graff. He's like all over the states, and they rack paints, and then they also rack like detergents and shit like that from grocery stores and go into like the projects and sell them. So they're just hustling to survive and pretty much to handle their basic needs. And I was like, oh shit. And he's like, yeah, and this dude has like yellow teeth and shit like that. I'm like, god damn. I was like, I don't know why he had to throw the whole hygiene thing in there, but he did. So I was like, oh shit. So these dudes ended up being these like pretty much bums. Another dude I met, he was started beef with me over some bandwagon shit, but when I like prior to me meeting him, he was like this, he's pretty much a local, famous graffer. Turns out this dude's like did like 5 years for graff. Pretty much like a loser, he got out, lives with his mom and stuff. Graff pretty much what it looks like it ruined his life, and he's kind of just, not doing shit with his life, and he's already beefing with me, and I was like 16, and this dude's like 38, beefing with a 16-year-old, so I was like, damn, so you kind of know what kind of mentality he has. A third one is, I had a guy, I was going to bomb this area, it was at night, I stopped at the liquor store, this dude asked me for money for a 40, and I was like, for sure, I got you. And then he saw my backpack, I had graffiti on it. He's like, oh, you right, man? I was like, yeah, bro, and blah, blah, right? That was when I was stupid. I had graffiti on my bag. And he told me he writes so-and-so, and he was like a graffer that was actually killing shit around the area. And I was like, what the fuck? And he pulled out a black book, and it was this homeless dude. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, damn. So that just kind of slowly pushed me away from the game, because I was like, I don't want to end up like these guys. So it's just a PSA, man. Just, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with graphing, but just don't let it consume your life. Don't let it, if you get caught too many times, man, start maybe hitting some yards. Don't let nobody, because I have a lot of people talk shit to me. I had on my Reddit, I had some guys telling me that I'm not a bomber because I only hit yards. I'm like, I hit main streets, you guys see on my channel, but I do hit a lot of yards because I like to hang out, I like to chill and do what I want to do, right? You want to do the best work I can do. But if you guys are getting caught too many times and you guys just don't want to keep risking yourselves, hit some yards. If you guys need to stop the game altogether, or you guys can't, do yards, man. There's nothing wrong with yards. I feel like I like yards, in my opinion. I would do yards all day. I'm gonna be, a lot of this stuff in the channel is gonna be yards. I'm gonna do my going all city video, which is just gonna be one long ass video, probably like an hour long or some shit. But overall, I'm gonna be, focusing on yards, going in there because I want to see, a lot of talent. I don't want to just see outlines on the main street and shit and tags. I want to be able to see like actual talent, somebody going all out and just killing shit. But yeah, that's just my word of advice, guys. Like I said, don't let this shit ruin you guys. There's nothing wrong with doing it, but if you see yourself not focusing on your priorities, because at the end of the day, man, you guys can go graff, feel happy for a little bit, but then you guys go home to your reality. I was living in a project for like 10 years, and I was graphing, but I was always on my mission. I was always trying to find some way to get money. I was even selling candy at one point and making this is back in like 2013. I was making like $1,000 every 2 weeks. So I was making like somebody's salary, and back then that was a lot of money. And so I was always hustling. I was like literally a freshman in school, and people would ask me like, man, you got a job or something? And then, I'll be like, yeah, I do. But obviously wouldn't tell them because I was pretty embarrassed of telling them that I was selling candy on the street side. But I was making so much money. I was like, I was making more money than my mom. So obviously helping her with rent and stuff. And the graff stuff, I would never let it throw me down. So at some point it did distract me a little bit. But overall, I always had tunnel vision on bettering myself. And now I'm in a way better position because of that. And obviously I had to stop graff for a little bit, but now that I'm in a better position in life, I can now actually start enjoying this kind of stuff. Even if I'm older, people will tell you you're a little kid and stuff like that. But I don't care, man. It's what I want to do. It's my life, and that's all you guys are the same. So just a PSA, man. And I don't want to sound like an old man, but I just got to be realistic with you guys. And I don't want you guys to think I'm, trying to sound like an old man, just giving you guys this whole PSAs. But I just hope you guys learn something from it. But with that being said, man, I'm going to get out of here because it's pretty hot. And with that being said, you guys stay up, take it easy, man. And if you guys have any questions, just hit the comments.